Hello, hello, happy Tuesday. All right, so today I am coming on to talk about marketing plan basics. If you haven't watched my first video from last week on marketing plan strategy, I highly encourage you to go back and watch that one first. A lot of the terminology that I'm going to be introducing today may be very different than what you're used to. And I think when you go back and watch that first video, or even from 2 weeks ago, where I talk about what strategy is and how it's a very commonly misunderstood and misused word, that's going to really help you set the basics. So today I am talking about marketing plans, which are the very action-oriented, implementable, the how, right? It's the doing. It's what we're very used to hearing about and learning about, but I'll be presenting it and teaching on it in a different way to really go back to good, solid business basics here. So going into this with the understanding that you've already watched or are very comfortable with the idea that our marketing strategy is that high level 30,000 foot CEO mindset of where we're going, right? Your strategy is that long-term vision that you're building towards. That's already set. That's the 30,000 foot. You have a clear understanding of where you're going and you're navigating towards it. Today, when we're talking about marketing plans, that's really what we're getting into. How are we getting to that strategy? How are we building to and accomplishing all the things that we want to do in order to achieve what that 30,000 foot strategy is? So now that we've set the stage, we're gonna come into and talk about the 8 basic components of a marketing plan. And don't worry, I've got my little handy dandy illustration that we'll go into too. Any questions? Hey there, pop them in the comment box, whether you are live with me or catching the replay, and I will respond to you. So what is a marketing plan? Like I said, a marketing plan is very much the how to achieving the goals that you have set forth for yourself. Now, 3 of these components, 3 of the 8, are very similar to some of the components within a marketing strategy. So, and this is in order. I'm giving them to you in a specific order of how it is easiest to think through it so that it makes sense, so that you're not going all over the place and kind of chaotic. So first and foremost, because you already have that 30,000 square foot strategy or vision, the first thing in a marketing plan is going to be the business goal. Most often with a marketing plan, that goal is going to be something external. It's going to be a SMART goal, right? So we're going to make it measurable. This is going to be oftentimes a revenue goal, a client sign-up goal, a retention rate goal, a conversion rate, click-through, something like that. We're going to, for the sake of examples, give something in the terms of make X dollars in revenue, right? So let's pretend, for the sake of ease, that our marketing goal here is to raise $100 in revenue. That is our goal. We can have secondary and tertiary goals as well, but you really want to be specific at them and you want to make sure that they're measurable. Another good thing too that I like to do in order to keep the business aligned to me, specific to me, and very much sustainable, and that I encourage all my clients to do as well, is to have an internal goal. So if our external goal is we want to receive or make or earn $100, I also want to feel really good about how I'm doing it, right? I want to feel aligned throughout the entire process. Or it can be something like, I want to keep an experimentation mindset through that. So those are just some examples of goals. The second thing that we've got to do is make sure that we're clear on our target market. So this is a little bit different from our strategy target market, because we can get even more specific here, and this is where we can start to really segment our business. So the example I gave last week was that Coca-Cola has all different divisions or segments of their target market. Their target market is, I think it's like preteens to young 40s. If you look at their business overall, that's their target market, is people who consume beverages between the age of like 9 to 11, I think, because they can't technically target kids, so maybe like 12 through 40, let's pretend. But within that, all of their different market divisions or business divisions, they all segment down into Coca-Cola diehard fans, or sports drinks, or people who drink juices, or flavored waters. They segment their target market, and this is where we're going to do it, is you take your overall business target market and you get even more specific in regards to whatever the product is that you're selling, right? So bringing it back into the service-based industry, if I were to use my business, for example, my target market is women entrepreneurs who run service-based businesses. I have different products that further segments that down into women entrepreneurs who are brand new in business, who have no idea what they're doing, and really need a lot of hand-holding or a lot of resources. Then I have a different product for women who have been in business, who understand some of the basics, but really need a deep dive into strategy. Then you can continue to segment, continue. So that's the second part, is target market. The third part is value proposition. This is where we get to really understand the benefits of the product in regards to our target market. So this is not the features. This is not the inclusions. This is not the fact that your coaching program offers 4 live calls and 3 PDFs. It's not the fact that your accounting firm offers 16 trial balances or 3 virtual calls. No. We want to know that information. That's helpful, right? We'll talk about that when we talk about content planning. But for our value proposition, it's what sets your business and this product more specifically apart from the other competing products. So what is the benefit? What are your clients or your customers going to get out of this? What hole does it fill? What does it fix for them? What does it provide for them that they are so desperately looking for? So those are the first 3 components. That's really the general information that we need for a marketing plan, and also the 3 that match up similarly, not quite the same, but similarly to our 30,000 foot overall market strategy. So now that we've established who we're targeting, right? What we're providing to them and what our goals are, then we can get into the detail, the very specific how. And this is where some of the terminology may start to differ from what you're used to. So I got my super fancy little guide here. I'll bring it closer. We've got our 30,000 foot marketing strategy. That goes down into our marketing plan. That's what we're talking about here today. And then we've got our different campaigns. I like to use the word campaign as a kind of catch-all or a subheading for all of the different pieces of the how. There are so many pieces of the how we do this that having that kind of categorical heading, I find to be personally very helpful. Where this differs is in a lot of online marketing, you may hear this part of it being referred to as strategy. And I gotta say, I'm definitely guilty of this as well, of sometimes the word strategy slips out of my mouth, even as a business coach with an MBA who has learned all of this properly, because it's almost become a colloquial term for how you get shit done. But that's really something that in my own business, in my own brain, and also for you, I want to reset us back to good basics, because strategy is not just the action items that you can tick off, which is why I'm really harping on the languaging today. So I'm going to speak of it as campaign. And I invite you, if you catch any of my other videos and you hear me or see me misusing the word strategy, call me out on it. Like I said, it has kind of embedded itself a little bit in my brain. So this is part of a retraining my own languaging as well. So when we talk about this campaign, There are 5 sections of it. The first section of it is the distribution channel. Now, I talked about this a little bit a couple of weeks ago, but a distribution channel is really quite generally the avenue that you are using to promote or to market your product. So, for example, one distribution channel is social media. It's the whole wide world of social media. It can also be print media, right? It can be newspapers, magazines, directories. It can be speaking opportunities, whether that is guest speaking on a podcast, a radio show, a television show, whatever it is. So the distribution channel is the overall avenue you are using to promote or to market your product. For B, the narrowing down version is sometimes called the platform. So in your distribution channel, you may need to further segment or to dial in more specifically. If we use the distribution channel of social media, we then need to be more specific. Are we using Instagram? Are we using Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn? What are we using within that? I'm going to pick a little bit of a bone with the coaching industry right now, that oftentimes I'll see or hear people coaching on the strategy of social media. Social media is not a strategy. Being on social media is a distribution channel. It is a tool that you can use, just like how 40 years ago, a tool that you could use was having your company listed in the yellow pages. That wasn't necessarily the full strategy because it didn't have your vision or your goals or a way to track it or a time component to it. It was a tactic. It was a distribution channel. So again, really catching our language in here to help clear up a lot of the muddiness or the confusion that is prevalent in so many entrepreneurs. So many. So if you've got any questions, let me know. Drop them in the box, send me a DM. If you're catching the replay, drop them in the box, send me a DM, let me know what you got going on, because I do realize that I'm introducing new languaging and different terms. So the distribution channel is that general avenue, that general channel of how you are promoting your business. Then you want to get even more specific if applicable, right? So let's not use social media, for example. Let's say that we want to be a speaker. In the realm of speaking as a channel, as a distribution channel or avenue of promoting, there are more specific ways to do it. I already mentioned some of them. There's radio ads, there's podcast guesting, there is actual event speaking where you can be a keynote or a guest speaker. You can host your own workshops or webinars, different things like that. So really getting as specific as possible. So as we move on to the tactics, the actual next piece being the tactics, the action steps, those to-do list checkable items or to-dos, we need to know specifically what we're doing, right? Going back to that little bone that I picked with the coaching industry, if we say, oh, our strategy is social media, that doesn't really give us enough to go off of, right? What are we doing? Each of the platforms within social media interact so differently with its consumers that it doesn't provide us enough information to move forward. So once we pick our distribution channel, for shits and giggles, I'm going to have the example be Instagram because you're watching me here. This is what I'm using right now. So let's go with Instagram. Or rather, our distribution channel is social media. Our platform is Instagram. Then we start to talk about the tactics or the action steps. This is where you get even more specific. You brainstorm all the ideas that make sense, that are applicable, that feel good to you. I am giving you a quick rundown here today. This is a lot of information already. We will not be going into all of the finer points. It's just very difficult to do that on an Instagram Live, but I do help my one-on-one client. So if you're interested You can either just connect straight in my bio. I've got a Voxer only package, or you can send me a DM. I'm also creating a course that talks a little bit about pieces of the marketing plan, and maybe or maybe not be creating a course around marketing plans and marketing strategies. Best bet though, stick a comment in the box, or if you are ready for one-on-one support, connect with me. I've got a really cool option of Voxer support and customizable options. So anyway, we're getting into the finer details, getting into the action items. Going on my example that we have chosen social media, we have narrowed it down to Instagram. Some of the tactics, some of the action items might be do reels, do stories, share on my post, right? This is a hard thing to talk about in generalities, because when we talk about the action items or the tactics, it is so specific to your business, your personality, your personal brand, the product itself, what your goals are, what distribution channel you're using, what platform. Like, there are so many things that narrow this down. So I'm kind of just going to leave it at that. That the next piece, that as I reference my thing, that number 5, the 5th component of a marketing plan, is tactics or action steps. Moving on. Number 6 is the timeline. We want to make sure that in our marketing plans, we're putting this to a timeline. We're not just letting it live out in limbo, live out in la la land of, oh, this stuff will get done when it gets done. If you do that, it never gets done. It doesn't. Human beings, we need that deadline to push us. So the timeline is just that. What your goal is, because what that very first step, when you set a goal, we set it as a SMART goal. Right? So there is a timeline perspective to it. The timeline also helps us ensure that we are evaluating it and measuring it. So that timeline is going to be whatever that goal is that you set in the beginning, and then also scheduling in all of those action items. Going off our example of using Instagram to sell product ABC to customer XYZ, we need to know how many pieces of content are we putting out? When are we going live? When are we going on our stories? When are we doing collaborations? That's what this component is really scheduling all of that out to help ensure its completion, and also to help the human part of us who actually has to do this make sure that there's enough time to get it done. Part number 7, the budget. So for a lot of solopreneurs or smaller businesses, a lot of digital service-based industries, it's not necessarily going to be financial. A lot of times, especially if you are the one-man shop or one-woman shop, you are doing all of it. So there's not really a need to worry about a financial budget. But there might be. You might be doing social media advertising, you might be doing sponsorships, you might also be delegating. So part of your budget should also include, how much am I laying out to have someone support me in this? If you have a VA or an OBM, a podcast editor, or anything like that, that all goes into the budget of your marketing plan. Regardless of if you do this all on your own, or if you do have a team to support you, regardless of the size of your team, I do encourage you to think about your budget from a time and energy perspective as well. Especially, actually, if you are a one-person shop. Because if you are working on a product, let's just say it is a $5 tripwire product that you're going to add on to your cart. You're not really sure about it. It's a brand new product. It makes sense, but you've never tested it before. You don't necessarily want to spend 20 hours, and you might or might, for sake of example, you may not necessarily want to spend 20 hours of your own time creating something that you have not tested, that you don't know if it's going to work, that may only bring in $5, that may not get a lot of interest to it. So is it feasible? Is it realistic for you instead to find someone to delegate parts of it to? So when you think about budget, if you don't necessarily need to put out any money, I don't want you to just skip this part of the marketing plan. I encourage you to really think about it from a time and energy perspective to make sure that you are utilizing your finite resources of time and energy in the optimal way for your business. Okay, so just that's a little note there. And then number 8, the final piece of the marketing plan. This is the evaluation or the KPIs. KPI is short for key performance indicators. These are going to be the metrics by which you decide whether you have accomplished your goal or not. Now, as I said at the beginning when we talked about goal setting, these are oftentimes external, right? Our example was our goal is to raise $100 through the sale of this product. So one of our key performance indicators is revenue. Either we hit $100 or we didn't hit $100. It can also be things like client retention rate, click-through, conversion, follower count, engagement, your reach. It can be an unlimited number of things. And just like I said at the beginning, I encourage part of this to be internally focused as well. You're not just building your business to make a shit ton of money. You're building your business to have a certain life, to have an impact, to build a legacy, to fill in the blank with what you're doing. And, oh yeah, by the way, to make a shit ton of money. Awesome. Make that money. Get it. Like, we're here for it. That's what we're doing. But we also want to make sure that we're not losing ourselves in the pursuit of money. So I encourage you as a KPI to also have something in there along the lines of, did I enjoy this? Was this process aligned? Did I show up consistently, whatever consistently means for you? Do I feel good in how this went through? Or did I feel kind of gross? Was it hard to continue to show up? Did I actually stop pursuing it at some point because I just didn't like it? So I encourage you to have some sort of KPI, some sort of some kind of measurable metric for the internal to ensure that you are in alignment, that you are not losing yourself in the pursuit of money. Because at the end of the day, money may come and go, but you're stuck with yourself all the time. So it would really be nice if you were happy, if you were content, if you felt aligned and fulfilled, right? So I know that was a quick and dirty run through. I'm going to go through them all again. But like I said, really just want to reset a basic understanding of what a marketing plan is. Because when you don't have a clear understanding of the foundations or the basics, it's really easy to become confused. When you're confused, you lack clarity. When you lack clarity, you stop listening to yourself oftentimes and start listening to all of the chaos that exists out there, all of the coaches or gurus or experts selling you on their stuff, when really what you need at the very beginning of like seeking clarity. I don't care whether you've been in business a day or if you've been in business 6 years or longer, you can always reset. So let's go back over. There are 8 key components of a marketing plan. The first 3 help set the stage and are very similar to some of the components of a marketing strategy. So the 3 marketing plan components that set the stage are business goals, target market, and value proposition. All 3 of these are within a strategy, but when we talk about a marketing plan, they need to be specific and geared towards whatever product you are selling, okay? So once we have the stage set through goals, target market, and our value proposition, then we get into the how. Then we get into the campaign. Within the how, within the campaign, are 5 other components. The first one is our distribution channel. This is the avenue through which you are promoting your product. Within that, we've got 4B, where we talk about the platform, where we dial it in as appropriate. Then number 5, I had to reference my notes. Number 5, that's when we get into the actual tactics or the action plan. These are the items that you'll schedule into your to-do list or your planner and really just check off, get it done. Number 6 is the timeline. What is the schedule to ensuring that you get all of this done? Number 7 is going to be your budget, which, remember, does not only mean the money that you are laying out, it also means your time and your energy. And then the last piece, number 8, this is your KPIs, or your key performance indicators. That's a lot. I will stick the 8 in the caption as well. Any questions, stick them in the comment box or send me a DM. I'm also sending this out in my email list with a lot more information because it's just easier than running up like a 2-hour live for it. This is something that I help every single one of my clients on because marketing is such a critical component to your business. Again, it's really about understanding and building those strong foundations for yourself, because once you have a strong understanding and foundation, it's easier to bring your focus back into yourself, to build your business sustainably, to build your business authentically without listening to everybody else who is shouting at you. So if you've got any questions, I'm going to say it again, stick it in the comment box, send me a DM. If you are ready and interested in really digging into setting up your marketing plan, your marketing strategy, and really taking a look at your business overall, whether you are brand spanking new or whether you've been in business for a while now and want to pivot or just recheck things over, I really encourage you to book a Voxer package with me. It's a 4-week minimum. It can be extended to dig into your entire business. We cover strategy, we cover mindset, we do energy work. Sometimes there's some somatic work in there. We really take a full 360-degree look at your business. If you are interested, you can book at the link in my bio or send me a DM and we can chat more. Thanks.